We go. All right, we are live in Amsterdam at ISE 2015. Bill O'Donnell, George Tucker, Chris Sano, myself. I'm Penny Settler from the
Our first guest at the HQ.
Yeah.
Great.
Woohoo!
So how are you, ma'am?
Oh,
You're the
we're
only
having-
ma'am in the room, so how are you, ma'am?
I guess I am.
You are.
I'm. We're having a great show. This is always a fun show. It's huge. It's different from anything else I do.
Okay.
Overwhelming.
It
Great.
is.
You're used to it.
It is. Yeah.
We're in awe of
Yeah.
the size.
There are always new challenges. Yeah. I was really so much looking forward to seeing you guys come in and see it for the first time.
the
I knew
expression on
it
our
would be
faces
so
would have been
exciting.
Yeah.
I'm thankful most Germans know how to speak English.
Yes.
They're Dutch. They're not Germans.
Other Germans. I think it means all of
Well,
them.
there are Germans, yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let me
Netherlands.
rephrase. I'm thankful that English is a trade language.
There we go.
Okay. We'll
All right.
fix that in post.
Yeah.
One question I have for you. You are in the middle of, this is my impression, you're in the middle of a very interesting hall, in the middle of some, not Goliath as in terms of the industry, but Goliath booths.
Uh-huh.
Samsung being one of them. Oh my, it's a city.
We used a dreadnought
Yes.
yesterday.
Yeah,
It's a
somebody's
huge
dreadnought
boat.
yesterday.
It's a dreadnought.
Does that help you, you think, having something that size in close proximity to you? Or do you think that that's a detriment, something that huge close to your booth?
I think that Hall 1 is often the first visited.
Okay.
And that's why we like being in it. Even though our booth is not one of those gigantic booths. Another fun thing that happens in Hall 1 is that sometimes we get to work with our neighbors. I think it's about 3 or 4 years in a row that we've had our booth next to Christie's.
Mhm.
And Christie always projects onto a screen in our booth. We just plan it out. We send them material, and they put it on our screen and use one of their
Long
really
throw
fine projectors.
Yeah.
It's not a terribly long throw. It's right across the aisle.
Mhm.
So one year we had another projection company projecting on another side of the booth. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's the little bit of information that most wouldn't know. They would just walk by, say, "Oh, look at that Draper screen," and maybe not even think twice of what was projecting onto it or who was projecting onto it. But that's one of the things that we'd like to do on the show is also uncover some of the the little secrets or the hidden stories behind that sort of having the neighbor next door projecting onto your booth. Two birds with one stone.
Mhm.
Little cross pollination never hurt.
No, it doesn't.
One of our visitors today asked me if that was rear projection. They were thinking about where it came from, but they thought wrong.
Wow.
So-
The mysterious projector.
Mm.
That's cool.
Is that something that you guys just in the normal course of business where you will work in tandem with another projector manufacturer when you go after, other integrators or other jobs where Christie and Draper comes into a bid meeting or goes into a consultant meeting and says, here are two products that work well together. We know they work well together. We've both used each other's products before.
Yeah. I'm not, being in marketing, I'm not so often in on what's happening with something as specific, job specific as a bid meeting.
Mhm.
But we do things like partner with Christie and their solutions that rock road shows.
Mhm.
And we partner with some of we partner in NEC's road shows. And get out places like that.
All right. Real quickly, guys, we all spent time on the show for today. We also spent time in our booth. We did our InfoComm Today podcast, which will go out in the next couple of days. George, with you, what was what's your first day takeaway?
Well, besides the booth that we were covering and all the cool stuff that we saw within those booths, there was Draper and Stewart and Oblong and I can't remember half of them now. My brain is on
Kramer Avenue.
Yeah.
I did Kramer Avenue.
There was a HD-based T.
HDBase T. I got to meet Dr. Kramer today. That was cool.
Did he tell you about his photography website?
He did.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
That was
And we met the son today.
Yes,
Yes.
we.
Chris took Ames to introduce us and said we're going to talk music on the show. So
Yes. That's
Yeah, we'll go head to head.
inside there that not many people know. His Pat, we got to meet.
I'm going to make that kid roll up his sleeves. I'm just, he's got.
I don't think he'll have a problem with
He
that.
won't have a
No.
problem with it. He's
No.
very, very down to earth. He's responsible for a lot of the Kramer's new speaker line.
Yeah.
Me and Bill met him at Infocom. We clicked right away.
Mhm.
And then the conversation about music started, and we went down a path that I said, you know what? You would be fine material to have on a show. We can talk speakers. We can talk, how we're going to do things, but we got to get into the metal scene.
Yeah, he's got the big rocker rings and everything.
Yeah,
It's
he's
you know,
psyched. So we're gonna have.
And it's
Yeah.
Dr. Kramer's son. Let's
Yeah.
not miss
Oh
that.
no.
Yeah.
It's to say, but the man knows his stuff.
But beyond that, today was getting around. Yesterday we tried to get around, but there was things everywhere in the aisles. Things were being built. The cities were still being built.
The cranes were
Cranes
still
were
in the aisle.
everywhere. There
There
was
was no carpet
there was the ephemera and detritus of the birth of these booths happening. And today was trying to figure out how I circle around. We have the map, we have the booths, and our travels today of doing booth coverage went from the booths next to us to clear across the hall on the other side of the city, I think it was.
Yes,
And just figuring out how we get back around. And now, like today, Bill and I figured out, there's a nice little route. Here's the shortcuts.
Oblong.
today was
It
that
was.
day.
I was going to say, Penny's Draper's booth is on an aisle that I use now, at least for the next 2 days,
Mhm.
as a homing device.
Yes, the landmarks.
Yeah, I can get to that booth. I can go straight back to 7 and
Yeah.
You look for Penny's booth. You look for the Sony concrete
Yep.
structure.
And then look for the
Yeah.
Samsung.
And
It's a right at the Sony.
Yeah.
Go straight down to Samsung. Hang a Louis.
Samsung just runs the length of it on the right side. As long as you find that and just keep going straight.
And if you're ever
So
lost, you know that when you hit the guy with the candy, it's right over there.
we're by the candy.
Right again.
yeah, we are by the Candyman.
Yeah.
As soon as I met, I was walking over and Tom Barnett from Crushtron was heading over to our booth and I go, so Tom, I'm glad I asked him how the show was going. I said, I'm surprised you even know where we're at because we're off kind of like it's not on the main path. And for people that go to Infocom, you're used to wide alleys, as I call them, or streets. These are maybe 8 feet. Where at
These are
Infocom,
alleys.
These are alleys, the New York City alleys, as opposed to
The boulevards.
Boulevards.
the boulevards. These
Yeah.
things are monsters. And I asked Tom, I said, you know where we are? He goes, absolutely. You're next to the Candyman. I guess that's a popular thing.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
if you want to
And
find
to,
us,
to illustrate, the guy has I got from my an outdoor vendor looking.
yeah,
It's a
Thing.
Willy Wonka size.
Yeah, it's a
car.
kiosk. It looks like it rolls, but he opens up the shelves or opens up the lids, and
help yourself.
it's just candy, and you scoop them up.
And
you
it's
bring
not
them
help
to 'em.
yourself. You got to pay the guy for it.
Oh,
Absolutely,
yeah.
but it's
You didn't just walk by, did you, and grab some, did you?
well, it's a,
But it is
what am I, Buddy the Elf?
served
Picking the free candy off the
Candy!
street.
That's the thing though we are at a disadvantage about only because coming from the US we look at everything as pounds or ounces and everything. And I walked by and I went, oh okay, €3 for 100 grams. I'm like, oh I have to do math. I have to
No.
do international math. Oh.
Next thing you know, you just dropped $70 on a pound of candy.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, wait a minute, what is that?
Yeah.
But at least you've got enough juice to go the rest of the day.
Juice.
Although I will say that a lot of the booths there, if you go into 9-10, which is if you're looking at the map of it, it's a dog leg around from where we are. There are some loud and very beautiful booths. When we talk about this end of this week about what booths, there are some beautiful booths up there, with not just with LED walls, but really well designed, really just vibrant stuff. Like you walk into Hall 9, it's like, whoa.
Pretty
Like the pupils go, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some LED displays that I would then absolutely 4K LED displays that are just outstanding.
Yeah.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes, sir.
what did you see today?
Let's see. George and I actually went to go and check out the Oblong booth and everything, which I have to admit it's in the same category as George would say. Aesthetically, it was very nice, very well put together. There's a clean look to it and everything, which I think that's what they're going for. Aside from that, we got to huff up and down booth 1 and everything. Or sorry, not booth 1, Hall 1. And there is some very, very well put together booths along those paths. Of course, those are the the main, we paid the buku bucks, so this is what we see kind of thing. But that aside, I'm trying to think about this. I mean, it was
Free
just
Wi-Fi in the business lounge. It lasts all the way to about section 9.
Yes,
So-
those are. That's actually the thing I
That's
did
an
notice.
important thing because
Yes.
there is not Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yes,
No.
the free Wi-Fi is along the 2 hallways that are connecting the 2 corridors that
Yep.
connect the tiered. That's the other thing we
Yeah.
found out is that not everything's on the same level. You have to go up the escalators to
Yeah,
get
or
to.
something.
If you go around the right-hand side, it's on. It seems to be on the same level, but it's not. And if you go around from the main hall, it's up a couple set of stairs. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Uh, you have a
Oh, I do
little,
know.
little warning that
Yeah.
just popped up.
All right, you talk about
I'll take care
what
of
you
this.
saw,
I'll take
and
care of
he'll take care of that.
Cool.
He took care of it last night.
What did I see today? I do have a complaint. Can I file a complaint?
Sure.
And Penny, maybe you can help me out with this. Maybe this is an ISE thing. What is up with all the raised platform booths? I did the tripping into every booth that I walked into. Is that like you guys? Is that like a cool thing, or is that?
I think it's a cable management thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Every
that
booth
makes
is
sense.
a different height.
Yeah.
Some you got to take the extra step. The other ones are just like little pot. The little ones get you because you think it's, you
I
don't
tripped
see
all
it.
day too, buddy. It's cool.
Yeah,
Some
you
sections
will
have
watch.
ramps, right? Some people have
Have ramps, but only
Yeah.
in certain sections.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess the ones that are certain ones have the little ramp all along all 4 sides, so it gives it that look. But man, every booth I came in, hi, I'm Chris. I'm here. Woo, head first, going right in. I do the stumble every time. I never.
Yeah,
got
at
the
11 at the
jump
10
right.
a.m. our time, they're serving beer in some of those booths. No, I did not partake yet, but they were at 10 a.m. They were chilling Heineken's and other brew on the platforms.
Some of the stuff, technology wise, that I got to see, I got to go over to Crestron's booth, which I mean, you could probably spend a day within that as well.
Oh yeah.
Got to see some of their. And what you don't know about the Crestron booth, I mean, you expect that the booth just goes straight. Now, it's not just straight. There's the whole wall to the right of it is all Crestron gear. It's divided up in. You can walk right through it and think you saw everything, and then you turn the corner and go, "Oh, there's a whole other wall that runs parallel to it."
It has provinces.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say cities, but we are in Europe, so things go by provinces at that
So
point.
they had some impressive stuff. Their new DMPS lines, they introduced some new stuff there that I got to chat and see about. And I was there on my own accord. I had to go see the new DM stuff they had, the small all-in-one type switchers. And I went to go see some of now their 4K transmitter receivers and scaler, the boxes that make it all happen. I mean, to have the switchers, one thing, but you sort of need the
The
transmitter.
other thing we've got is in our booth, Hall 7, R160. Bill is manning our little. It's not our little, but it's a contest, right?
Mhm.
To see how quickly you can put together a Crestron huddle system.
Yeah.
If you do the fastest time, you get a GoPro.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Let's see. I think our current record is one gentleman came by and was able to put it all together in 1 minute and 24 seconds.
Bang.
Bang.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're looking at two laptops as sources, the DMPS 150,
Yep.
a TV. But
Couple
he's
HDMI.
mean and he pulls the cables out after everybody gets done. So you have
No
to-
cheating.
Hey,
And-
they have to learn and respect micro USB. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that one.
and HDMI. So
Yes.
Yeah. What I actually went to go check out was it was in the family of the 150s, but it's the DMPS 150, but it's the 2 younger siblings that came out this week.
Mhm.
So I went to go check that out. I did some of the running around today as well. Obviously, I went to go see Penny over at Draper. That was some interesting stuff that they're talking about with the project planner and stuff like that. That is a useful tool, not only to select your screens, but just for knowledge base. I mean, I can go in there and just try to, use the the projection planner just to get a better idea on even the projector. Knowing that I'm using yours, like what kind of projector I can use. I'll just reverse engineer the thing in my head and just say, all right, well, obviously if we're going to use this, then we should be looking at that. So you
Well,
guys may have not intended that use, but
Yeah, Mr. Whitcamper, whose name I've learned to pronounce, knowing my phenomenal record of mangling names, he took us right through that, which was very nice to go through that. And we also went through the Tech Vision stuff.
That's some cool stuff.
And I can't think of the name of it. I apologize. The one that fits the
The Access Fit.
Access Fit. Thank you.
Okay, so this is TechVision is it's a year old, sort of,
That's right.
right?
Mhm.
And the reason I say sort of is because you kind of announced it this time last year,
We did. We
but
announced
was it ready? What?
No, it was.
Something like that. Like, you want to see?
Paige just gave me the-
It
Excuse
was
me.
ready. It was ready. We were doing private
You
demos.
did private
though.
demos, but,
Yeah.
but
The
it
demos
wasn't.
were not open to the
There
I'm a
we
public.
go.
mime. I'm a mime.
I was trying to
You're
say that
something,
nicely.
George.
But then an info comment was like, "Holy cow! Here's everything."
Da-da-da.
So how has it been for the first year? I mean, what's been the reception like, and for TechVision?
This is, I think, the most awesome AV product we've
Yeah.
ever had. It is our taking control of our fate in a large sense. You know, most projection screens are made of fabric that's made by somebody who's not in the projection screen business. They're not in the optics business. They don't really know what they're doing. And
And yet they're still making screens. But go ahead.
well, it's secondary.
Yeah.
They make that in polyester
It's
suits.
secondary.
Here we color your vinyl. Here you go.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
make lollipops and
yeah, they may be making tent canvas too, or something.
Mhm.
You know,
Have you seen our rubber butyl?
there you go. There you go. But so we decided that we had to, if we wanted to have the premium quality product we really need to have, that we had to get into the business of making the material ourselves.
So you guys are now an in-house. You brought that process of the screen build in-house. So you now have the.
We make the TechVision
Material.
fabrics in-house.
Nice. Yeah.
We do.
And what I found interesting yesterday in our conversation, and Tim was there, and we're just running through and saw a penny. You don't refer to them as screens. You refer to them as formulas. Is that correct?
Formulas, surfaces.
Surfaces. That's
Yeah.
I've never heard
The-
that. So to me, that was kind of interesting. It's
But
like
the-
it's like a
yeah.
secret Coke recipe.
it's science.
You say formulas, I'm thinking food, and we don't eat during the show, so it's kind of, you know. I'm thinking,
His blood sugar is like.
yeah.
I think Ned is hungry.
I
Yeah.
told you to get the croquette sandwich.
Yes, that's the advice. In hall, what the heck hall are we in?
Seven.
Seven. Thank you. Hall 7. Go to the end where the business lounge is. The veal croquette sandwich. Awesome.
You had.
I turned-
I got
turned
the
it on to you.
I got the beef,
You got the
And-
beef.
and I do have to admit
They
it is.
are heaven.
Okay, time out.
What about?
Time out.
You asked for coffee and water,
No, no,
Bubba.
time out. Time out.
Uh-huh.
Last night we went to a very nice little bar and grill.
This
around
is
the
true.
corner.
Yes.
And I know what you're going to gripe about.
He and I are like the big dumb Americans. We have this big honking burger.
Yeah.
Veggie boy over here has a veggie sandwich, and tree hugger over here.
Tree
has a
hugger.
portobello.
Yes!
mushroom.
Portobello mushroom with.
And now
In
they're
the
talking
balsamic
about
vinegar?
meat.
In the hierarchy, George, I'm above you.
This is true.
We went with quantity
Hard
and
to
size,
believe.
considering
Exactly.
that we went all day without food. But
You
I
forget that my wife was a chef de partie de carne and can butcher.
I have
Almost
no
anything.
idea
What that
you
means.
And,
said.
then,
But
well, the
that
truth, you know what it
awesome.
means is she can take an entire 300-pound tuna in about 5 minutes. She can probably take it apart and put it into steaks. Which means if I ever cross her, they'll never find me.
that's it.
Why did I not bring her? Why did we bring you and not her?
Well, this is a good question. Isn't it?
You know,
So next year,
You know
Next year,
Maybe
gotta
Amy
because they
comes and
wanted
not
to go
Tucker.
well, in houses 6, we'll bring the kids. They'll sit in the back.
That's fine.
going back to that,
Yeah.
I have two comments regarding the food and some of the stereotypes that you may hear about, being in Europe. One, the bloody freaking mayo comes with the fries, not the side of ketchup. So yes, it's true. You will
good.
get your fries with a side of mayo. The other thing is,
It's good mayo.
I
Yeah.
decided to
Real
go
mayo.
light last night, and I ordered a light beer. I needed to run it through a coffee filter because it was not light beer. Do not come here and think you're going to get a nice,
Bud
just
Light.
a Bud Light or Miller Light, refreshing light beer, not too heavy.
No, Chris,
They're
The
Bud
thing-
Light. They're gonna go to the canal. They're gonna put it in the water. And they're gonna bring it to you.
You
No,
know
Fix it
what?
there.
And I'm not trust me, I'm not a Bud Light guy, but
they do have light beer here. It's called Carlsbad.
oh, really? Or sparkling water.
Jerk.
I
That was
know,
a
he
rip.
tried-
That was a rip on that one.
He tried that, but man, the light beer was not light by any means.
It was blondish looking,
It was
It was.
definitely
as
a
compared
blonde.
to the dark and stormy we were drinking.
Oh, you got it. That was a delicious.
It was
bock.
like an
How dare
it was
you.
a bock, but
Very
it tasted
nice.
like an oatmeal stout.
It was awesome.
Oh,
I still.
So that's- we'll
still
save that
enjoy
for the beer
experience.
show.
We was
Right.
to say we're delving back into the stuff, not what people are looking for. So, all right.
it's part of the experience.
It is part of the experience, and I will agree with that. So tonight we're gonna experience some more. The one thing that I will guess, because I typically just ask people questions and I don't say anything, is just the sheer size, right? I am absolutely blown away. We talked with Betsy Jaffe from Infocom today, and she indicated, we talked about the fact that they've already announced for next year, ISE is going to be 4 days.
4 days, yeah.
In addition, I don't know if you knew this, RAI is building a new hall between this year and next year. So not only is it going to be 4 days, they're going to have more square footage. We're going to have to bring more people, is what I'm thinking.
We need more people
and-
and pack mules to get
and-
from
and
one
pack
side to the
mules,
other.
yes. We need more, or a dolly, either that, one of the two. The dollies don't eat as much.
Can
as
I
pack
can I
mules.
register? As I say, can I register for the electric scooter?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is this thing is really big and it's growing, which is kind of exciting to me,
Yeah.
right? I did meet with a couple integrators today that are strictly Eurocentric. We did see some US based ones too. Tom Barry from Barracks
Mhm.
stopped by the booth and chatted with him for a few
How
minutes.
did I not hear that? Considering the way Tom is like 100 miles an hour, and you could probably see Tom coming down the hall.
Probably,
with all the, with sheer height alone and the destruction, and then
Yeah,
but he's friendly as all get out.
Very friendly guy.
He's like
Very, very.
what is that?
The big friendly giant?
What's the thing that Tasmanian Devil when he comes down?
He
God
wasn't
love
like
him,
that.
man.
He talks fast.
Oh no, absolutely. But
Yeah.
Tom's always got something going, man.
He's got a million
I
things
love
at
it.
once, though. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, he's on your level, baby.
Can't think
He's
straight.
got 1,000 projects and focused on each one at each second.
I will say this: you cannot go end a conversation with him without having at least a big grin on your face afterwards. He's
That's
always
true.
just
True.
Very nice guy,
He's
very
a
Yeah, the seriousness only lasts a certain
Yeah.
short.
Well, no,
time.
we saw it when we were going up to the Harmon booth for the after party.
yes.
We met a couple of people that just came right out of the blue to focus on us, saying, "Hey, we know Keith Kennedy, a friend of
Yeah.
mine. I'll get his number and his business later." But
Yeah.
he was like, "Hey, we know you were here." So there's a lot of U.S. based people here.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you how many people we went into booths and talked and looked. They were like, "Oh, you're from the U.S. This is great to hear that you're here." And there's a lot of stuff we're going to cover, both for some of the stuff we're doing on the side and for this, that right next to us.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 booths. You will not see this in the U.S. and it is amazing stuff.
No, and
Yeah.
it's one of the questions I'm asking these folks is why.
Right.
And they've got legitimate market reasons for this is our market. These are our people. We understand the culture. We understand the electricity. We understand.
Yes.
Some
Well, there
of
is the CE versus UL thing, and where some places it doesn't work,
Yeah.
and you have difficulties with that. So, Yeah.
One of the things that I came across today, or I mean, over the last 2 days since we went over and checked in with the press, one of my biggest fear coming here was we're the Americans coming into the European turf, and how do we, the not journalists, we've never said we're journalists, we are the AV professional guys who put this jacket on at night and do this. Take off the cape and go back to our real jobs during the day. How would we mesh with the formal journalistic, approach that they take here?
Yeah.
And I have to be honest with you, the European media has been
Very
very
nice.
nice.
oh yeah,
I was expecting sort of that, like, what makes you a journalist? You write about
Bloody
things
Yanks.
that, yes, we did not get it. It's been a very reassuring thing to me, because I was kind of like, I don't want to mess up anything here. I don't want to come across the wrong way. And they're starting to come around to the, obviously, that I obviously get mixed in with a lot of the social media stuff. They're coming around to that. They're not as social media friendly, I say, as we are. There's a couple that are,
Yeah.
but to them, that is 140 characters. They're not going to get their journalistic thing out. We've obviously embraced that, and I think it's more of a U.S. thing. So much
it
so
absolutely
that
is. Yeah.
you know,
They do, but they've embraced it in their own unique way, right? You and I were talking about this. We have the AV tweets, right? Johnny Moto started the AV tweets hashtag. They have their own version of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some of them. I met Kevin McLaughlin virtually, right?
Yes.
We get to meet him in person tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's a great guy from England. and he uses AV tweaks, but the Eurozone, I guess, and
Pro
the
AV world.
Pro AV world, they have their own
Yes.
their own hashtag, I guess.
Yes.
Is the word. So.
And there's some other secrets and things that have come up in conversation that I promise not to divulge regarding how they handle their stuff and what they do and stuff like that. It's very interesting. I'm looking forward to a lot of different the meetings I had today were really good. I was able to walk around, get into some booths, talk to people. They know who we are, and it's you travel 3,000, 4,000 miles.
Sure.
And you walk into a place and somebody knows you. Outside of Penny knowing me from back home, it's you take a step back. We're still walking around wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, looking. Wow, look at this. Wow, look at that. And the first person you see that, it's like, hey, like, oh,
Saw Harold.
I'm sorry.
From Austria today.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so
To actually, and again, I have to thank Penny was one of our contributors. And we do it every show, and we will continue to do it until you guys are sick of it. I have to thank everybody.
And then even after that.
Yeah. And even after that, we're going to continue saying how grateful we are to have the opportunity to come out here, because it's one thing to do it from the way we did it before, to physically get in there and get in the mix and have that interaction. It's
Walk the floor.
There's something to be said about that, and it's an experience, and I'll go off in this afterwards, but man, it's, to see the people, to talk to them, and to see the personalities come out. I mean, there's so far, we try to do this on video. I wish we had a camera with us 24/7. The immersive experience that I want to do and bring to the AV Tubes back home, I'm figuring out what's the best way. There's got to be a better way to have those conversations brought out. I would have loved to sit with you at your booth and have this ability to do this and let them see and hear the stuff right back.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to experience it. We got people that are hanging on and sending us tweets and DMs. Hey, can you go check this out?
Yep.
I put out messages. What do you want to see?
Yep.
I'll tell you what the top ones came out. Everybody wants to see cool projection mapping. I don't care if you're a switcher company, a light bulb company. Find something, put some projection mapping on it. Whether it's the Tesla, which is everybody wants to see that, or the cool from back home, they want to see the wow.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find
Panasonic
the
is
wow.
doing a lot of mapping.
Panasonic's
Christie is doing a lot of mapping.
Barco's doing it too.
Barcon's doing
Yeah.
it. I know there's a company called Dataton which does the mapping, but they're mapping on not just a wall, but they've actually started to use Pico projectors. I tweeted about that. They're using the
Have you not
Optimus
noticed
or
that?
Optima Pico projections on 3D models that they built.
Oh, nice.
Have you not noticed that projection, the mapping thing was originally just big pieces of gear.
Mm-hmm.
You'll now find projection mapping on like an Apple iPlay or the Apple TVs,
Yeah.
and projection mapping be done on a sneaker. It's gone the full gamut. Before it was, let's show like Christy did with the huge pyramid a bunch of years ago,
Yep.
and did the projection mapping on that, and that the whole thing was like, it was immense. It was big. It was a big focal point.
Well, also too, last year was the little car. I forget which booth that was. I can't remember which one it is. I apologize, but they had a little model of a car, and they had some little roadies. I guess they were projectors. Maybe it was Christie's. I can't remember, and they were doing it on there. Not to push one of the shows we do, but Pico Pros, the Pico Perspective show. These guys have been talking about Pico projectors for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's now coming into play where digital signage and display and advertising can start to use these as an attractor. And it's a really interesting field that's coming about. And I've seen a bunch of them, and there's one guy displaying it, which I'm going to try and look at tomorrow. Actual Pico projectors are there to show. So it'd be interesting. I mean, these things are up almost at 720p. The laser is probably good. The laser emitters are probably going to be your best bet. And I say within 6 months to about 8 months, you'll see 720p at about 10 feet from a projector about yay big. And it's going to be an amazing thing.
All right.
Back
Yes,
on
ma'am.
Sunday, I went for a walk in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Wound up at a museum, walked inside, went through. First thing I saw was some of the coolest projection mapping I've seen.
Military museum?
No.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
this was the Canal Museum.
Okay.
I heard one about the military.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the first room of the exhibit. They've got some big white walls that they're shooting on, but in front of the big white walls is a white model of the city of Amsterdam in like 1490 something. and all kinds of stuff they mapped onto that
Yeah.
in the course of that was probably 5-ish minutes in there.
That's
And then you go on to another room, and then they're mapping onto a table. So that was a lot simpler. You know,
Yeah.
still pretty neat.
It's
But
pretty neat, but the model.
But they can bring it out. I mean, visually, they can make
Exactly.
it look like it's standing up and
Yeah.
3-dimensional, which is a real trick. I mean, I work with the guys who do this kind of stuff, and the masking they do and the way they talk about like projecting on a building, and they mask out the windows in the programming. They mask out the windows so that it's black. It just doesn't show. It's amazing stuff, and with all of this going on, it's going to be really nifty next year to see what they're doing with it.
The I do remember actually a while back I went to in Abu Dhabi. There's a place called Ferrari World, and it's an indoor theme park. It's licensed by Ferrari and everything. It's run separately and everything. But the big to do in there was that they had a kind of like a Cirque du Soleil show.
Mhm.
But part of it was that they had a whited out body of a Ferrari that they then did the projector mapping onto it. So that, every now and then during the show, they'd be like, oh, we're going to a different location. And they'd hop into the body of the thing, and it would make it seem like the car was
Oh,
moving.
nice.
Yeah.
That is one of those ones I looked and I went, wow, that's just an impressive thing.
Well, maybe that'll be the only way I'll actually ever get to drive in
All
one.
right.
So,
We're gonna get some work done. We're gonna go hang out with Benny some more, and then we got videos and audio and some things to write tonight before we hit the set. So
What do we? You want to give a preview for tomorrow? What we're looking at tomorrow?
off the top of my head, I don't remember what tomorrow is. So
we don't think.
or
more than
what are we
tomorrow.
posting tomorrow? Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, we're
Or who we're visiting?
to be honest with you, I think we've only been stopped to just that one booth. I mean, not one booth, one area.
Yeah.
In the.
So here's what we have tomorrow, right? So we've got the tweet up tomorrow, which is
Yep.
really
Huge.
incredibly huge.
that's the HD
Over
based
100
booth.
people.
Over 100
Today.
people today. Over 100 people.
Woohoo!
Chris and I were at the HD Base T booth today, and we told Sandra, and she's like, "Oh, cool, whatever. We have plenty."
They're okay.
So-
They're okay with the small mob.
She's okay with a small. She said it. She said it. So she's okay.
All right,
with
everybody,
small
show
mob.
up at once.
Fabulous.
So
Yeah.
when do we post
flash
the warning signs on the neighbors?
Yeah.
You gotta knock on their door, tell them we're gonna have a
And
party.
then I get to. I'm very very honored to host the first UC
That's right.
chat tomorrow. And the one thing that's unique about that is it's hosted by Kramer, but you've got Kramer, AMX, Crestron,
All in the same room.
all on the same
Very cool.
stage,
Yeah.
Nice.
talking about UC.
Fabulous.
And this little Hoosier from St. Louis gets to host it. So that's pretty cool. That's
It's only 1 million people watching.
That's a
Don't get
4
nervous.
o'clock.
No pressure.
4 o'clock in Hall 10 if you're at ISE. So.
Yeah. It's,
And then we've got some other some more booths tomorrow, and some man on the street stuff tomorrow too.
yeah.
That's one thing that I'm really looking forward to posting up. Is again talking to not only the U.S. but the Eurocentric people. So.
Oh, you should.
And in closing, some of the things that we have in the works, and I may have mentioned it today on Twitter. It looks to be very promising. A lot of interesting conversations were had today. So if ISE was to end today, I would be happy that I had the meetings I had today. Tomorrow I can only go out and do more damage. I mean, it's gonna be fun. So,
There's a phone. So
and we got a phone, we got
Yep.
a call, we're gonna go.
That's a
Okay.
warning.
all right,
Go.
guys. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good morning or
Or good afternoon.